Hi everyone, my name is Maricela, and for this paper, I based my case study on my job. As my example, I work at a retail fashion store, so we are, um, you could say, a very small group of individuals working together, and we have to come together to accomplish goals that we have set as form part of the company. So I based I started off my paper on the base of communication. I think being able to communicate will either affect you in the long run or could benefit you in many ways. It states it's the process of understanding what is being said and what one is trying to say. So many factors affect that. It could be from your attitude to the degree of interest to the ego to the level of authority and the bias that's being used. Many times we don't pay attention to the way we're saying things. Someone could be taking what we're saying, interpreting it as sarcastic or um, rude, when in reality it's vice versa. And a lot of times it's the nonverbal, the the expressions we give that are portraying that maybe we're saying one thing but meaning it in a different way. One of the theories I used was the structuration theory. It states that groups establish structures um, within their groups for discussion and for problem solving by creating rules, norms, roles, power distribution that it will allow the group to function effectively to be able to sustain itself. I took this theory as basically think ahead, plan ahead, think of possible scenarios that could affect your group in the long run. So you have to kind of think ahead and think of how you would approach it. One of the main things that I noticed that has happened in my group it was one of the things mentioned in the book. The primary dimension of groups is task and social dimension. Basically, working and socializing the task affects the social interaction within the members, and the relationship with the members within the members affect the task. So basically, there needs to be a balance. At my job, I've noticed that I stick out more, a little bit more of the outsider. I try to see more of the bigger picture. Now that I'm taking this course and other communication courses, I kind of like study them, and I notice that they focus more on the bonding, the friendships that they're trying to create, and less on the tasks that we have to complete, the goals we have set that the company gives us. And I've noticed that there's been times when there's so much tension because they have so many personal problems within their friendships that they take it into work, and it, it's hard for us to accomplish the the goals we have set. Sometimes we get the district manager who comes in that's higher than my store manager, and she notices that we're lacking the the accomplishment of our goals because there's so much within the girls because they worry more about their friendships aside of the task when there should be a balance, or at least okay, yes, and get along at work, but try to separate work from personal life. But that's one problem that they're having to work on. Also, I spoke about in my personal example. I also spoke about having to stay away from competitive kind of approaches, like stay away from being so competitive or putting people into like competitive situations. Rather, it's best for us to do like more teamwork so that they could kind of work together and accomplish goals that we all have set rather than compete with each other and make it more of a personal success. Another point that I touched was the styles of conflict management. There's so many styles that the book talked about, but there's two that I feel like a lot of groups kind of focus a little bit more on. One is the avoid style and the confrontation. I feel personally that at my job they focused a lot more on the avoiding kind of style, um, where they kind of brush it off and they keep having the conflict. There's still so much tension, but they just keep brushing it off to avoid more conflict, to avoid conflict within their friendship groups, rather than the confrontation. I feel like confrontation doesn't have to be aggressive or doesn't have to be singling out individuals. It could be a confrontation within the group, bring it to the attention of the whole group, and that's how they'll be able to communicate and open up to what's going on, and everybody will be at a better point. Another theory I used was the Fisher theory, decision emergence of distribution of different tasks, and the discussion making can change the team, and when it is managed successfully, it can make the group stronger. The four stages are the orientation phase, conflict, emergence, and the last stage is reinforcement. In a lot of groups, it's easy to go through all of these stages, but there's several groups that, it takes time. Right now, my personal group, we're taking time to get over the conflict into the emergence, but I feel like with the help of like all the different techniques of communication and a little bit more confrontation and a little bit more balance between friendship and personal and more leadership, I feel like we'll eventually get over the conflict and into the emergence and the reinforcement. So yeah, that's a little bit about what my paper was about. I hope you guys have a nice day. Bye.